Welcome back. Let's now get you some breaking news from our neighborhood, and this comes from Pakistan, which seems to be in the dark as far as its power outage is concerned, and troubles are only mounting for the Pakistani government. It is soon going to present a mini budget to address concerns of the International Monetary Fund, who will not release the bailout package for Pakistan if necessary reforms in the economy are not implemented. So the conditions are set. The deadline is set as well by the IMF for a bailout. Sources are now telling us that IMF's recommendations are expected to stoke up inflation. Reports suggest that there could be a 30% hike in electricity prices, 60 to 70% hike in gas prices, and hike on interest rates as well in Pakistan. Remember, this morning we had seen major cities in Pakistan that had plunged into darkness. The economy is in doldrums. And now, even for the IMF to bail them out, there are certain preconditions that have been set. Abhishek Jha, my colleague, now joins us for more on this. Abhishek, it's one crisis after another for Shahbaz Sharif and for Pakistan.
And absolutely, it looks like Shahbaz Sharif is dealing both at international front and political front in domestic level as well. Recently, Pakistan has announced a conference sort of thing in Geneva to have as much of financial assistance from various countries in the wake of ravaging flood that has happened in Pakistan. But most likely what they could get was 8 billion approximately pledges. These are still pledges, so these are not the money that Pakistan has actually got, and these pledges are supposed to come in Pakistan for a longer period of 3 to 5 years. So the current crisis of Pakistan, of economic crisis, is nothing that is going to be sorted out with the latest convention that Pakistan tried to arrange. Pakistan is also trying to take monetary assistance from Saudi and UAE to have its balance of payment crisis maintained, because Pakistan's foreign exchange reserve has depleted to a level where it can only suffice for few weeks of international import. Remember, Pakistan, for most of its essential commodities and fuel, depends on international imports. In fact, most of its energy demand is generated through fossil fuels. We have seen today how this whole outages in Pakistan has created a concern whether this was because of some fuel crisis or whether it was because of some technical error that the energy minister in Pakistan is claiming. But overall, the situation in economic situation in Pakistan remains grim, and the latest mini budget that Pakistan government is trying to present would only be in a direction to assure its lenders or its creditors that the economy is on the track, or what are the ways that Shahbaz Sharif is trying to find out to bring Pakistan away from the crisis of economy.
Right, Abhishek, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that. Security analyst Pathikrit Payne also joining us on this broadcast to put this in more perspective for us. And Pathikrit, like Abhishek was also pointing out, it's one crisis after another. And it's not just instability as far as economy is concerned. There's political instability as well. Elections are just around the corner in Pakistan.
Well, what we witness of Pakistan right now can be termed as multi-failure failure that the country is going through, and primarily because Pakistan was never a viable economy per se. They have never put effort to create viable institutions in place. The grid doesn't fail like that. The grid failure itself only happens when you have systemic neglect of the grid for a long period of time, even though it's a reality that the transmission lines or power outages or collapse have been a norm than an exception in Pakistan. But what Abhishek also mentioned rightly, that there's a question mark as to whether it is by design or default. Because there is a strong possibility they have deliberately done it to save some money. The annual amount of oil import they do primarily for generation of power in Pakistan is $3 billion. They simply don't have money right now. Secondly, it's only a few days back, the government of Pakistan asked the shopping malls to shut down by 8:30 p.m. to conserve energy. I don't know which rational government would ask commercial retail spaces to close up by 8:30 at evening, especially at a time when actually this business starts picking up. And yes, so far as political instability is concerned, look, Pakistan has always been unstable politically. That is the way their so-called pseudo-democracy has worked with the deep state of Pakistan always been in control. And the reality is that there is no government of Pakistan which has finished its 5-year term. So political instability per se is not an issue. The elites of Pakistan, the feudal landlords, whether it is the Sharifs or the Zardaris or the Bhuttos or even including Imran Khan, they have always had a nice time. Even if the price of wheat goes up to 10,000 rupees a kg, they don't mind. Reality is that the rest of the Pakistan has been indoctrinated, radicalized to the hilt. They have suffered while the elite have made money by begging all the time, whether it is for flood or anything else. Pakistan is imploding in multiple fronts. The failure in the power sector is just a symptom of that. And, it's only a matter of time where you would see bigger crisis. But at core, even today, their objective does not remain to be to rationalize and reform the economy. They still talk about Kashmir. They still talk about jihad. They still talk about other things. So if they want to be suicidal, then who can save them? I don't think World Bank can, because World Bank will ask them to rationalize tariff. Today, Pakistan has a major supply side constraints. So if raising a price can only make things better if you have larger supply chain. That is not there. So invariably, higher prices would create more chaos. The chaos is going on in a cycle, in a loop, and it's going to go on like that unless, the idea of Pakistan, if at all something was ever there, will completely collapse altogether. The signs, as you see, Poonam, right now, are palpable of what happens if the priority of any country is not development but something else.
Absolutely. And we've had the Pakistani Prime Minister just in the recent past come out and say that we need to talk Kashmir and we need to get the Indian government on the talking table. Then we had another provocation coming in from Kashmir yesterday, where they wanted school children to observe Kashmir Day there. So all they want to do is try and divert attention from the problems that persist in that country. But what good does that do? Because all you're trying to do is try and shift the narrative, but the world is looking through that.
Well, I don't know whether the world is looking through that, because, specifically the Western countries and the Middle East have always, kept Pakistan in good humor because of its geostrategic location. But Pakistan have played this game for the last 50 years almost. They have radicalized their youth. Their education system consists of so many, obnoxious things that they write against Indians, Hindus, other minorities. And that is how they have fed them with that hatred. So they can't give up today, because if they give it up, then suddenly the same Pakistan will ask for better amenities, which the government of Pakistan and the elite doesn't want to give to the rest of the 85 to 90%. And at the same time, they have created a huge infrastructure of terror organizations, and they have kept in good humor by playing the Kashmir card. Today, if Shahbaz Sharif suddenly talks about peace and do away with the Kashmir card, even though he knows that nobody cares two hoots what he says about Kashmir, but he would still continue to speak about it, because if it doesn't, then tomorrow all this Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed will become Frankenstein, as Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan has become. So he keeps on playing this card, and that is exactly what Pakistan has done. That's why I reiterate, that if a country is suicidal in its objective, then nobody can stop them from going down the bottomless pit. Even World Bank cannot. And that is the reality. The deep state of Pakistan makes money. The political elite makes money. The rest of the people don't. Today the remittance in Pakistan have stopped coming from the formal route of banks, because they know that the money will not be given to their family members. All is coming to the hawala routes only, because the faith that they have in financial institutions of Pakistan and the government of Pakistan has absolutely gone away. As it is, whether you talk about Tehreek-e-Taliban and the regions of Balochistan and Waziristan or Swat Valley, they have declared an independent government of their own, which has nothing to do with government of Pakistan as per them. So it is a game that is going on. I think we should simply watch the game that is happening. And it's a lesson for every country in the world. What happens if your objective is not development of your own country, but your objective is to destroy others.
Absolutely. And Pakistan, of course, not mending its ways, not learning lessons from its past mistakes, and is now suffering at the end of that. For the moment,